In 1962, a woman walked into a hospital in Paris, France. She had no memory. She did not know her name. She did not know where she came from. She could not even recognize her own face in the mirror. The doctors examined her. They found no injury, no illness, no sign of trauma. Her brain was perfectly normal. She could speak. She could read. She could write. She could do complex mathematics. But she could not remember anything about herself. The head doctor asked her, "What is your name?" She paused. She looked at the ceiling. Then she said, "I do not know. It is as if I am a stranger to myself." The doctors called her Madam X. They kept her in the hospital for observation. They hoped her memory would return. Days passed. Weeks passed. Months passed. Nothing changed. Madam X was a mystery. She remembered how to cook. She remembered how to play the piano. She remembered world history. She remembered science. She remembered everything except who she was. One day, a young nurse decided to help. She spent her evenings with Madam X, talking to her, trying to unlock her memory. She showed her photographs. She played music. She read her poetry. Nothing worked. Then, one night, the nurse had an idea. She asked Madam X to write a letter to herself, to write down everything she remembered. Madam X wrote for hours. When she finished, the nurse read the letter. It was not a letter. It was a poem. A strange, haunting poem about a woman who walked into the sea and never came back. The nurse was confused. She asked, "Who is this woman?" Madam X replied, "I think she is me. But I do not remember walking into the sea." The nurse searched for missing persons reports from the coast of France. She found one. A woman had disappeared from a small town in Brittany in 1956, 6 years earlier. She had walked into the sea and was presumed drowned. Her name was Isabelle Marchand. The nurse showed Madam X the photograph from the missing persons report. Madam X stared at it. She did not recognize the face, but she started to cry. She did not know why. The case was reopened. Investigators traveled to Brittany. They found Isabelle's family. Her mother was still alive. When she saw the photograph of Madam X, she collapsed. She said, "That is my daughter. She is alive, but she does not remember me." Isabelle's mother traveled to Paris. She walked into the hospital room. Madam X looked at her with empty eyes. The mother said, "Isabelle, it is me. It is your mother." Madam X did not respond. She looked at the woman like a stranger. Then she said, "I am sorry. I do not know who you are." The mother cried, but she did not give up. She brought old photographs. She brought childhood toys. She brought Isabelle's favorite book. She read it aloud to her daughter. Nothing worked. Then the mother remembered something. She brought a small music box. When she opened it, a simple melody played. It was a lullaby Isabelle's father had composed for her when she was a child. Madam X listened. Her eyes widened. She started to tremble. Tears streamed down her face. And then she said, "My father, his name was Jean. He used to play this for me every night before I slept." It was the first memory she had recovered in 6 years. The mother held her daughter. She said, "Isabelle, you are remembering. Please try to remember more." But Madam X shook her head. She said, "I remember my father. I remember the music. But I still do not remember walking into the sea, and I do not remember why I forgot." The doctors were amazed. They called in a neurologist from London, a specialist in memory. He examined Madam X for weeks, and then he said something that changed everything. He said, Madam X did not lose her memory. She chose to forget. She blocked it out. It was a psychological choice. Something happened in 1956, something so painful that she decided to erase herself. The team of doctors and investigators searched for answers. They found police reports. They found witness statements. And they found a secret. Isabelle Marchand had not walked into the sea by accident. She had been attacked by someone she trusted, someone who had threatened to kill her, someone who was still alive. The attacker had been a man named Pierre. He was a local politician. He had been arrested in 1956, but released due to lack of evidence. He had claimed Isabelle ran away. Isabelle had not run away. She had survived the attack. But the trauma had destroyed her memory. Her mind had sealed itself off. To protect her, the investigators found Pierre. He was now an old man, living in the same town. When confronted with the evidence, he confessed. He had attacked Isabelle. He had tried to kill her. He had believed she was dead. Isabelle did not remember him. She did not remember the attack. But when she heard his name, she started to shake. Her body remembered even if her mind did not. The case went to court. Pierre was convicted. But Isabelle did not attend. She was still in the hospital. She had started to remember small things: her mother's face, her childhood home, the taste of her mother's cooking. But the day of the attack remained blank. The neurologist said, "Some memories are too painful to recover. The mind has a way of protecting itself. Isabelle may never remember what happened." And that might be a blessing. Years passed. Isabelle returned to Brittany with her mother. She lived a quiet life. She never fully recovered her memory. But she was at peace. One day, in 1974, she visited the sea. The same sea she had walked into 18 years earlier. She stood on the shore. She looked at the waves. And she whispered, "I do not remember what happened here, but I forgive myself for forgetting." She walked away. She never returned to the sea. She died in 1990. In her final years, she wrote a book. It was about memory, identity, and the power of forgetting. She wrote, "Sometimes, forgetting is not a weakness. It is a gift. It is the mind's way of saying, 'I will protect you.'" Her book became famous. It was translated into many languages. People all over the world read her story. And they wondered, what is worth remembering? And what is worth forgetting? Now, let me ask you something. Is there a memory you wish you could forget? A moment so painful that you would erase it if you could? The woman in our story did not choose to forget. It happened to her. Her mind protected her. She never fully remembered the trauma. And maybe that was a mercy. But here is the question that haunts me. If you could choose to forget, would you? Would you erase the worst moment of your life? Or would you carry it because it made you who you are? I have thought about this story for a long time, and I have come to 3 possible conclusions. First conclusion: Isabelle's forgetting was a biological response, a survival mechanism. Her brain shut down to save her. This is something that happens. It is called dissociative amnesia, rare but real. Second conclusion: Isabelle's forgetting was spiritual. Her soul simply could not bear the weight of the memory, so it let go, and she became a new person, a blank slate. Third conclusion: Isabelle's forgetting was a choice, not a conscious choice, but a deep, hidden choice, made in the shadows of her mind, a choice to survive. I do not know which conclusion is correct. Perhaps all of them are. Perhaps the truth is different for each person. But here is what I do know. Somewhere, out there, maybe in France, maybe in England, maybe in a small town just a few miles from where you are sitting right now, there is a woman who forgot her name. And she is still forgetting. Because forgetting is not the end. It is the mind's way of protecting the heart. That is the story of the woman who forgot her name. A story about memory, survival, and the quiet power of letting go. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to this channel. I make animated documentaries about strange stories, dark history, and the mysteries of the human mind. Thank you for watching. And remember, some memories are not meant to be remembered. Some are meant to be released. See you in the next video.